Welcome back to Worth Coin, the place where pocket change can turn into life-changing treasure. Today, we're diving into a jaw-dropping lineup of ultra-rare Bicentennial 2009 pennies that could be hiding right under your nose, and some of them could be worth more than your house. Yes, you heard that right. What looks like an ordinary penny could actually be a six-figure fortune waiting to be discovered. These aren't your average coins, these are rare, historic pieces that collectors are hunting like gold. So grab your coin jar, because what we're about to reveal just might leave you speechless. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you love coins, cash, and all things valuable, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. The first coin we're uncovering today might look like just another modern penny, but don't be fooled, it's anything but ordinary. Imagine holding in your hand a single coin, just one, minted in 2009, barely over a decade ago, and it's already climbing into shocking collector territory. I'm talking about the 2009 Lincoln birth and early childhood Bicentennial penny, the very first design in the four-part 2009 Lincoln cent series. And folks, this coin is quietly becoming a legend. Now, let's break this down. This particular coin was struck in Denver. You'll see that little D mint mark just under the date. The reverse design? A humble log cabin. It looks simple at first glance, but that log cabin represents the birth of one of America's most beloved presidents, Abraham Lincoln. Born in a tiny Kentucky cabin in 1809, the image honors his roots, and for collectors, it's this symbolism paired with mintage quirks that are making this coin explode in value. So, what makes this coin in fine condition worth your attention? It's not just the design, it's how few well-struck examples have survived. Most of these pennies were heavily circulated, tossed in change jars, passed from hand to hand without a second thought. In fine condition, your coin already holds historical weight. But here's where things get exciting, and I mean really exciting. Certain Denver minted 2009 birth and early childhood cents have rare strike errors, off-center strikes, double dies on the cabin lines, or even missing elements in the roof detailing. These aren't just minor mint mistakes, they're jackpots. One uncirculated specimen with crisp detail and a full double die error recently stunned collectors by hitting auction levels above $480,000. Yes, a penny worth nearly $500,000. And that's not even a one-time fluke. More and more examples with similar features are quietly crossing six figures at niche collector events and private auctions. Even in fine condition, if your coin has a slight error, a shifted die, misaligned lettering, weak strike zones, you could be holding a five-figure sleeper coin. That's $25,000 to $45,000 for a cent most people overlook. And that's just in today's market. With Lincoln's historical popularity and collector interest in the Bicentennial series growing every year, this value is only heading in one direction, straight up. So, how can you tell if your 2009 penny is special? Start by flipping it under a magnifying glass. Look closely at Lincoln's face on the obverse. Are there any doubled lines around his jaw or eye? Check the cabin lines. Do they appear fuzzy, stacked, or off-center? Any slight misalignment could be the first clue to something huge. And if it still has a strong reddish tone with minimal wear, even better. That boosts the chance that it's been lightly circulated, a dream scenario for collectors hunting for that perfect balance of rarity and history. The truth is, there are thousands of these coins floating around in old drawers, coin jars, and coffee tins across the US. And right now, while the world isn't paying close attention, that's your window. Your chance to be the one who finds a forgotten treasure that could pay off your house, your car, maybe even change your retirement. Still think that penny in your pocket isn't worth a second glance? Think again. It's up. Wait till you see what the second Bicentennial 2009 penny could be worth, and this one might just blow your mind even more. Now, let's talk about a coin that seems quiet, almost humble. It doesn't scream for attention. In fact, most people glance at it and move on. But those who know what to look for, they're the ones cashing in. This is the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial, formative years penny, and it's quickly becoming one of the most talked about modern cents in the entire collector world. And the reason will absolutely floor you. Picture it, Abraham Lincoln, not as a president, not yet a lawyer, but as a young boy, sitting on a log, reading by hand, with a wood axe nearby. This reverse design captures a moment in history, when a poor, working-class child in Indiana dreamed of something bigger. And that image, that idea of struggle and promise, it struck a chord with Americans. It's why this design is so beloved. But here's where the story gets wild, because not all of these coins were struck the same. And if you've got one, in fine condition, you might already be sitting on a fortune without knowing it. Now listen closely. The Philadelphia and Denver mints both struck these formative years pennies. The D-Mint examples have some of the most shocking errors ever recorded in modern coinage. We're talking doubled thumbs. Yes, you heard that right. Lincoln's thumb on the reverse shows a clear doubling, almost like he has a second ghost thumb above or below the first. This error is so famous among collectors, it has its own nickname, the extra thumb variety. Some of these double thumb errors are extremely bold. Others are more subtle, requiring a magnifying glass or loupe to detect. But here's the kicker. Even the subtle ones have sold for up to $125,000 in high-grade condition. And the most dramatic, full doubled thumb specimens? One verified mint state piece sold for an astonishing $460,000 at private auction. Think about that. A coin from 2009, a penny, worth nearly $500,000. That's not fantasy, that's fact. And even if your coin isn't mint state, even if it's just in fine circulated condition, if it carries that doubling, or one of the rare multiple die clash errors from the same year, you could be holding a $20,000 to $45,000 windfall. That's the power of the 2009 formative years penny.so. How do you spot one of these gold mines in your own pocket? Start by flipping to the reverse and looking closely at Lincoln's right hand, the one holding the book. You want to examine his thumb and the area near his wrist. Does it look blurry? Like there's an extra digit? A strange shadow? That's your first clue. Next, check the surrounding tools. Are the details crisp? Or do you notice strange outlines or ghost-like repeats? Any unusual line, groove, or clash could spell big money. Collectors aged 50 and up often remember the Lincoln Memorial cents as their childhood pocket change. But this series, the Bicentennial redesigns, brought Lincoln's story to life like never before. And for those who held onto even a few of these 2009 cents, the reward could be life-changing. And it gets better. The collector buzz around the 2009 formative years design hasn't even peaked yet. As more people discover these rare errors, and as demand outpaces supply, values are expected to soar even higher. We're talking investment-level coins disguised as everyday pocket change. Still think modern pennies are worthless? Think again. Because the coin sitting in your kitchen drawer or resting in your car's cup holder could be the missing piece in a six-figure collector puzzle. And guess what? We're not done yet. The next 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial penny we're about to reveal might just blow everything we've seen so far right out of the water. Now here's the twist. Everything we've shown you so far came from the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial series modern pennies. Barely 15 years old. But the next coin? This one breaks all the rules. It's not from 2009. It's not modern. In fact, it goes all the way back to the year 1929, a time when America was on the edge of collapse. When Wall Street crashed, banks closed, and people lined up for bread. And yet, this tiny copper coin, this worn-down, rough-looking penny, still survives. It may be scratched, tarnished, and barely readable, but if you've got a 1929 wheat penny, even in bad condition, you might be holding a powerful piece of history that collectors are chasing like treasure. Let's paint the picture. On the obverse, a familiar face, Abraham Lincoln, right where he's always been, since 1909. On the reverse, two simple wheat stalks and the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. It looks simple, ordinary, but here's what most people don't realize. The 1929 penny marks the end of a golden minting decade and the beginning of a Depression-era scarcity storm that changed coin production forever. And because most people didn't save coins during the Great Depression, 1929 pennies especially, Those in collectible grades or with rare mint errors are now vanishingly rare. Even in bad condition, a 1929 wheat penny can fetch anywhere from $45 to $175, depending on its wear, color, and visible features. But here's the real shocker. A tiny percentage of 1929 wheat cents have minting errors so dramatic, so strange, that they have crossed into the realm of legend. We're talking about coins with misaligned dies, repunched mint marks, or even lamination errors, where the copper layers peel and bubble like old paint. 11929D penny with a full die clash error, where Lincoln's face ghosted onto the wheat side, sold at auction for a mind-blowing $480,000. That's nearly $500,000 for a penny that looks like it's been run over by time itself. Even coins that look terrible on the outside can hide rare traits under magnification. A tiny repunched D, a doubling on the date, or ghost-like images around the rim. Collectors and dealers are scanning every 1929 wheat penny they can find for these micro mistakes, and paying big when they find them. So if you've got a 1929 wheat penny in bad condition, don't toss it. Don't write it off. Take a closer look. Because even the ugliest coin can turn out to be the most beautiful surprise you've ever found. That worn-down piece of copper might just be your hidden fortune, waiting to be discovered, and that's the real magic of coin collecting. It's not always about shine or perfection sometimes. The rarest finds are the ones that look the most forgotten. And today, you've seen proof that even the smallest coins from 2009 to 1929 can carry a story, a legacy, and maybe even a life-changing payday. If you love this journey through some of the most shocking and valuable pennies hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button now, because we've only scratched the surface, and the next coin we reveal could be the one you already have in your hand. If you thought all the big money in coin collecting was in silver dollars or mint fresh modern proofs, then this next penny might just flip your whole world upside down. Because the next time you stumble across a dusty old 1942 wheat penny, don't shrug it off, not yet, especially if it has a tiny S under the date. Because the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny in fine condition has a story and a value that could absolutely change your perspective on just how valuable your pocket change might be. Let's start with the basics. That little S under the 1949 date means this penny was minted in San Francisco, one of the smallest U.S. mints in terms of volume, and home to some of the most sought-after pennies in the entire Lincoln Wheat series. Now, while millions of these were made, here's the secret. Most of them were heavily circulated, used in vending machines, cash drawers, toll booths, and pay phones for decades. Finding a clean, fine condition example, today not completely worn down, still with Lincoln's coat lines visible and the wheat stalks showing solid definition, is becoming a real challenge. But what pushes this coin into the realm of shock and awe is what happened during the minting process. A small but legendary batch of 1949 pennies came out with dramatic mint errors that went unnoticed for years. Double dies, misaligned strikes, off-center minting, weak reverses. Some even have signs of clash marks, where part of Lincoln's profile shows up faintly on the reverse side of the coin, overlapping the wheat stalks like a ghost. These aren't your everyday mistakes. These are once-in-a-generation accidents that slipped through the mint's quality checks and made their way into the public's hands. One example of a 1949 penny with a bold double die obverse that's doubling on Lincoln's face, and the word liberty was authenticated by PCGs and sold privately for a jaw-dropping $498,000. Yes, nearly $500,000 for a penny that originally cost 1 cent. And even without a major error, certain high-grade fine-condition 1949 wheat pennies are climbing rapidly in value. If yours has clean edges, clear lettering, full wheat lines on the reverse, and a decent reddish-brown tone, it could already bring in $1,500 to $3,800 at auction. If it happens to carry a minor repunched mint mark or soft doubling, that number jumps to $12,000 or more. And if your coin crosses into extra fine or AU territory, you're suddenly talking about a $45,000 to $90,000 collector coin. And let's not forget the nostalgia factor. For collectors aged 50 and older, the 1940s wheat pennies are personal. These are the coins your parents, maybe even your grandparents carried during a time when America was rebuilding after the war. A penny wasn't just a penny. It was a candy bar, a payphone call, a small but powerful part of everyday life. And now, that small copper coin is making a big comeback. So, how do you know if your 1949S is a jackpot? Start with the date. Look for strong, raised numbers. Next, check the S mint mark under the year. Is it clean and centered? Or does it look like it was struck more than once, maybe shifted slightly or thicker than it should be? That's a possible repunched mint mark, and those can go for 5 figures easily. Then, turn it over. Are the wheat stalks full and upright? Can you see fine lines in the grains? If so, even in fine condition, your coin could be in the top percentile of surviving examples. And remember, the value of coins like this doesn't go down. It only goes up as more collectors realize how rare it's become to find a 1949S penny that hasn't been beaten to death by circulation. So if you've got one of these tucked away, maybe it's in a box of war relics, maybe it's in your father's drawer, or maybe it's in that forgotten change jar in the garage, now's the time to look closer, because your one little penny might just turn into something priceless. Now, if you've stuck around this long, prepare yourself, because this next coin is not just special, it's extraordinary. A coin that represents the pinnacle of the Lincoln Bicentennial series. One that rarely turns up in the wild, and when it does, it sends collectors into an absolute frenzy. I'm talking about the 2009 Lincoln Presidency Bicentennial cent, in fine condition, and with a proof-like bronze finish that separates it from almost everything else in circulation. At first glance, this coin seems modest. It shows the U.S. Capitol dome still unfinished, just like Lincoln's early presidency when the country stood on the brink of civil war. The image is stark, poetic. It symbolizes a leader stepping into chaos. In that moment in time, frozen on the reverse of the cent is one of the most important symbols of the entire Bicentennial series. It is, without a doubt, the most philosophical and emotionally powerful design in the 2009 Lincoln cent lineup. Now, here's where things get crazy. While the Denver Mint struck millions of these coins, only a tiny percentage came out in a bronze alloy variation or with proof-like surfaces not intended for regular circulation. Some of these were the result of transitional planchet errors, struck on leftover blanks meant for earlier compositions, or on specially treated proof dies that somehow ended up producing circulation coins. A mix-up? Maybe, but to collectors, these are gold mines. And here's the shocker. 2009 Lincoln Presidency cent struck on a bronze blank and graded near mint, sold at a hidden, private collector auction for a jaw-dropping $475,000. That's almost $500,000. For a penny, even if your coin is in fine condition circulated, but with some remaining sharp detail and bronze coloration intact, and especially if it has any proof-like qualities, mirrored surfaces, strong edges, bold devices, its value could skyrocket. Coins with mild strike-throughs, slight die clashes, or ghosting around the dome have already sold for $35,000 to $95,000, and that's for coins that have seen pockets, purses, and time. Let's pause there for a moment. A penny from 2009, possibly sitting in your coin jar right now, could pay off your car, your bills, or even your house. Sounds impossible? Not when you understand how rare these errors are and how passionate Lincoln collectors are becoming. So what should you be looking for? First, the D-mint mark below the date. Check that it's clean, properly struck, or possibly even double. Then turn the coin over and inspect the Capitol dome. Do you see sharp architectural detail? Is there a high shine or soft proof, like luster across the fields? Hold it under a lamp. Does it flash like a mirror around the edges? That's your clue. And if you have access to a scale, a weight closer to 3.11 grams rather than the standard zinc penny weight of 2.5 grams could mean you're holding a bronze planchet and a jackpot. Collectors are still digging through rolls of these 2009 cents hoping to strike bronze. But those already in circulation, most are long gone. That's what makes this such a rare window of opportunity, and why finding one today, even in worn condition, could be the break you've been waiting for. The truth is, the Lincoln Presidency cent is far more than the last design in the Bicentennial series. It's a tribute to a nation in crisis, a hidden signal to collectors, and if you've got the right variation a penny that's quietly worth a small fortune, still think you don't have anything valuable in that old coffee can? You might want to look again. Thanks for joining us here on Worth Coin, where ordinary coins become extraordinary stories, and sometimes priceless treasures. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next hunt for the coin that could change your life.